And I mean, your experience, Ben, like, what do you think are some of the biggest mistakes or even challenges that not only sales reps make, but salespeople in general make when trying to generate qualified leads and prospects? Like, what have you kind of experienced, even just by leveraging data that you've gotten?
Yeah, I think that there are, there's a saying that my co-founder Brian says that, there's no such thing as a good metric, because as soon as it becomes a good one, it's no longer good. And so, we focus a lot of attention on some of these metrics that really aren't all that important. Look, I we're in baseball playoff season right now, and it's funny to see batting average is still such a huge metric, but the reality is that actually doesn't have a real impact, as we've all found through Moneyball and all that stuff, that it's there. But we all still, as a society, love batting average. Excuse me. If you're a baseball fan, it's still a really important metric to look at. And it's similar in sales when we're talking about things like, oh, I want to see how many emails were opened. Well, you know what? A really audacious subject header is going to get a lot of open rates, but it doesn't mean that anyone's going to respond. You could send a really bad offensive email and you're going to get a lot of responses. They're just going to all be negative. So response rate might not actually matter either. So there's all kinds of metrics that we've been sort of programmed to follow, and of course, volume being the most notorious one. That really gets us off the mark of what really matters. And what really matters as salespeople is that we're hitting the goals that we have in front of us, but how we get there is something that isn't being scrutinized enough. And so it's by nature we say, oh, we need more, right? We're all consumers. We need more. We need more leads. We need bigger companies to go sell to. We need to close bigger deals, and we need to keep hitting our bigger goals that are put in front of us every year. What the majority of us as sales leaders don't do is say, how do I increase my conversion rate when I work with these types of companies? What happens, how do I shorten the time frame in which a deal closes? And why is that important?
Mhm.
Well, if you think about it, if you can shorten your deal size in half, you're going to need a lot less deals that particular year, because a lot of those deals are actually going to fall into the next year. So when you start to look at those types of metrics, you start to optimize for the right type of behavior, which means high quality, putting a lot of emphasis and effort into engaging the right type of customers, and cutting down the wasted amount of time that we spend as salespeople, which, by the way, is probably 70% of the time salespeople spend is wasted effort. So we're starting to see a little bit of a movement with this in the account based sort of revolution that's happening, so to speak. I think anybody that's been fairly good at their role over the last couple decades has always taken an account based approach, but we're starting to see that happen more and more, and the ability to do that's become easier with more access to real good data and that sort of thing. But those are the areas where I feel like we fall short, is really focusing on the right types of metrics, at least the ones that are right now, and really optimizing for quality and higher levels of bigger impacts, rather than higher volumes of things that are just going to lead us to wasting a lot more time, everyone's time, our time as well as the prospect's time.